Well, after 6 hours, here I am ready to make some tacos. I'm gonna make 2 tacos, a vegetarian one and a chicken one for the kids. My daughter, that is her favorite taco that I make. Along with everything, I'm going to make a couple of salsas, which to me is the most important part of any taco. It can make or break any taco, so they have to be delicious. So let's get started, shall we? This thing right here is a mortal and pestle, as what most people know it as. In Mexico, it's called a molcajete. My grandmother actually gave this to me, and when you buy them new, they're a little porous, so they need to be cured, and by cured, they throw a little bit of rice in it and work it and rinse it, work it so that the inside's smooth, but this thing tastes tough. So in this molcajete, to start the salsa, I have 4 dried Japanese chilies, I have 2 cloves of garlic, and I have maybe a teaspoon of salt. And as soon as this turns into a paste, like you can see what it's doing now, I'm going to add the tomatoes. So these are 2 roasted tomatoes that I cut into quarters, and I threw them in broil for about 10 minutes. I always like to keep an eye on it because not 2 ovens are the same, just enough to have a little bit of char on them, and it'll soften the tomato up perfectly. This is where you want to be a little bit careful. You don't want any of the juices of the tomato to squirt all over you. And really use the edges of your mortar and pestle. The last thing you want to do, once you get it down to like a puree, you want to be able to thin it out just a little bit with some water. Those tomatoes have a tendency of getting a little dry in the oven, so we just want to rehydrate the salsa a little bit. And of course, the final thing is to actually taste it. Let's see what we did. Perfect. Next salsa is a green one. Nice thing about this is that you don't have to cook anything. It's actually raw and all vegetables. Basically want to start with a jalapeno. If you want it milder, take the seeds out. I like heat. 2 tomatillos, raw but rinsed. Don't forget that. When you go to the grocery store and you buy a bunch of cilantro, take about 1/3 of it and just twist off from the tie up. 2 cloves of garlic, 1 large, 1 small, and the meat of half of an avocado. Add some water. Olive oil, this is very important. This is gonna give it a nice creaminess. About 1 tablespoon of that. And last but not least, salt. I like to start low. If you need a little bit more, you can always add it at the end. It's all preference. Now I like a really nice creamy consistency to this salsa, so I do leave it on for about 1 minute. And last but not least, taste. Now that the salsas are done, guys, it's time to work on the fillings for the tacos. First one I want to do is a vegetarian one, super easy. I have a can of drained chickpeas, a half of a head of cauliflower cut up finely, some taco seasoning, a little bit of oil, and into an oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. So at this point, I've cut a whole red onion, half of which we're going to use to cook with the chicken. Here's a fun fact about cilantro. A lot of people like to take the leaves off. I leave the stem on because to me, that's where all the flavor is. All right, for the final filling of the taco, we have a chicken dish that I really like to do. I'm just gonna cut up some chicken, add some ingredients to it so that it flavors it really nice, and then saute it. You wanna get the chicken cut up kind of in small pieces. Same concept as the cauliflower and the vegetarian filling. You don't want the pieces to be too big so that you can add other things to it. To me, a taco is all about balance. So what we have here is 2 chicken breasts cut into about 1/4-inch pieces. We have a half of a red onion minced, 3 garlic cloves also minced, and about 2 teaspoons of your favorite seasoning. So what I'm personally looking for inside of our vegetarian filling is a little bit of burnt edges around the cauliflower. As you can see here, that's perfect. That's gonna work out just fine. Now for the fun part, let's build my favorite taco. My daughter loves quesadillas and tacos, so I came up with the concept to do both in one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat up 2 tortillas. So once the tortillas are halfway cooked or the edges start to curl up, you want to flip them over. Add cheese to one of the tortillas.
What kind of cheese?
This is quesadilla cheese, or Chihuahua cheese, it's also known as, which is not just a canine, a cheese, but it's also a state in Mexico. The other tortilla, put it on top, grab a little spatula, and press down, creating a quesadilla. Let that cook for about 30 seconds on this side, flip it another 30 seconds, and now you have the base for a really yummy taco. Once the cheese is totally melted, put it on your plate. Add your filling of choice. Top it with your favorite toppings. I like avocado. And there you have it.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Now do the same thing with the chicken.
That's it. Enjoy.
Provecho. Wow. That's a really good taco. From my family to yours. Provecho.
Provecho.
Eat tacos.